Welcome to the North Park Podcast, where pastors and people connect. This is the place to get to know your pastors as they address theology, ministry, and more. Join us now for today's conversation.
Hello and welcome to the North Park Podcast. My name is Luke Kiergaard, and I'm here with Pastor Drew and Pastor Luke. And today we're talking about nothing.
So don't turn off the episode now.
Yeah.
after hearing that.
They're like, why is it 2 hours long?
I'm going to waste my life listening to this.
Well, my idea I don't know if you can call that an idea if the idea is nothing, but we're in a new studio.
Yeah.
Hopefully it sounds good. We are actually in my old office in the church office building house. We moved from the church library, which we recorded 4 seasons of this podcast in.
Yeah.
So this is weird.
Yeah.
I remember we did a test episode with Zach in his office. And then I guess I don't know why we ended up moving.
I don't either.
Because it worked pretty good.
Yeah.
But we were in the church library for a while, and the church library hasn't really been fully functional as far as like a service to our people. And I think we'd like to get it back to that point.
Yeah.
Which means getting all this recording equipment out of the way. Mm-hmm. So here we are, and it's kind of cool. I'm at a desk. I kind of feel like a talk show host or something.
Yeah. You look like it.
And thank you.
I feel like your pace
just need, like, the
and
suit and
even
tie.
hosting right now is just it's another level.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Really stuck
shocking.
up your game, man.
Yeah.
And Drew and Luke are sitting across from me. We're also talking about maybe trying to do video in the future, which would be cool.
Yeah.
But anyways, since we're getting used to a new space and just to kind of break it in, we thought we'd just kind of have a more lighthearted episode. We've talked about some more in-depth and theological things so far. So I just pitched the idea to Luke the other day. What if we just talked about nothing?
And it seemed like a great idea to me.
And now, what do you think?
I think
Now
here
that
we
we're
are.
here. Not actually about nothing, but just not having an agenda and
Well, this is where I'll maybe just put like a theological front end preface before we keep going here. Is that there is something very meaningful and worthwhile in human connectivity, and I think meaningful human connectivity involves communication. And I remember like experiencing this in COVID when the quarantine was happening and everything was like kind of shut down. Is there was this like huge desire just to like be with one another and talk together that like Zoom just didn't really get the job done all the way. And I remember myself personally, that's when I started to fall in love with a couple podcasts that very similarly had like maybe 2 ideas that were kind of just like fun and whimsical, and it was just some guys just hanging together talking. And I found myself like gravitating towards that because like through the podcast I felt like I could kind of be in the room with them just enjoying lighthearted conversation about stuff. And so I think there's actually something very significant about being able to just talk about anything in life together. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't think it's a wasted thing, and I think it's actually probably something that would help us. Drew, I'd like to hear you on this. Recover our humanity a little bit to just be able to like talk about stuff. Like I don't know, it seems like it's increasingly a lost art to be able to just hold a conversation with somebody else. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad used to say all the time to me when I was growing up, because I'd be at school 5 days a week. I'd get to the weekend and be like, Dad, what are we doing this weekend? We do something fun? And he'd be like, I got some work to do. I got to do some cleaning around the house, stuff like that. And I'd just be like, oh man, it's so boring. I just want to do something fun. And my dad would look at me and he'd say, Drew, life is made up of ordinary days. Mm. And that kind of became a theme in our house, just the ordinariness of life. And it wasn't until I was after college where I really realized he was onto something there. And the reality is, most of our life, unless you're the Apostle Paul, most of our life is made up of ordinary days. You wake up, You make your breakfast, brush your teeth, you go to work, your kids go to school, you come home. You just do ordinary things over and over and over and over. And every once in a while, the Lord allows you to go to a summer camp or a conference or a weekend retreat, and you have like these mountaintop highs, and those are gifts from the Lord you should enjoy, and they're good. But most of our life is lived in the mundane.
Yeah.
And that if most of our life is lived in the mundane, that means most of our discipleship, our spiritual growth, our walk with the Lord, our growth in our love for Him and a knowledge of Him, our growth in our love for people is actually being done in a very ordinary ways. And so there is so much value in just living, talking, thinking about ordinary daily life things. And we talked about this in our Elders meeting this morning, but if you look at the commands that Paul gives in Scripture, think about the commands for in Ephesians 5 about families and husbands and wives and children. Like, those are daily, regular, ordinary, mundane commands. Children, obey your parents in the Lord. When do you do that? Every day. When they say, hey, it's time to brush your teeth or it's time to go to bed. Husbands, love your wives. When do you do that? When you make her coffee in the morning, or do you sit and listen to her after having a rough day? You know what I mean? Like, those aren't mountaintop experiences, but that's where the meat and potatoes of Christian life actually is lived, is in ordinary stuff. So yeah, I think it's 100% appropriate to have times where you're just like, hey, we're just gonna sit and talk, because that's where real life is. And honestly, all the people who listen to this, like, they're not pastors. They're living their life outside of the church, not thinking about the Bible and spiritual things on a daily basis, because they're thinking about their engineering project they're working on, or homeschooling their kids, or taking somebody's blood pressure or whatever. And so how can we help folks who are not thinking about the Bible and spiritual things all the time still love God and love others in their daily lives?
You don't think Gospel Coalition is looking to pick up this podcast?
I think they should.
I think they should too,
because we're hilarious.
So there we go, Luke. Are you gonna bring a funny headline in after that now?
That's what I got pulled up. No, with that, I was thinking of like what Scott says in our intro too, where pastors and people connect. And so we don't want the only side of us that people see to be us talking about really heady topics or super serious stuff. Because like when we're just have a little bit of downtime and passing each other's offices, we just have fun and talk about a hot dog spill that shuts down the highway in Pennsylvania.
Way to bury the lead there.
Yeah. No, yeah, I was debating whether or not to do this to have a funny news story, because this is already a week old, and whenever this episode comes out, it's old news. But
it's a week old and I haven't heard about it.
Yeah.
I saw this in passing, but
yeah.
On the highway?
No, but I wish I had.
Well, this article is funny because maybe I'll just read it because it's really short, but they put a bunch of puns in there.
Of course they did.
Well done.
But I guess it doesn't say what date this happened, but this was posted August 1st. Hot dog spill shuts down highway in Pennsylvania commuter's worst nightmare. But there's a picture here. It looks like a truck ran into the dividers. There's just boxes of hot dogs all over the place.
You think he did it on purpose, like a Robin Hood type of thing? Like, let the people have hot dogs.
There's got to be a better way to deliver them. But yeah, it says they spilled across the Pennsylvania interstate after a crash that briefly clogged the heavily traveled artery. Is that supposed to be a pun? Because hot dogs clog your arteries?
Yeah, I think it has to be, because I've never heard the highway called an artery before.
You never heard of travel arteries? Like how they describe highway systems?
I mean, I get it.
Heavily traveled
makes sense to me,
Yeah,
but I don't think I've heard it referred to it.
I've heard that term before, yeah.
But it makes sense. Yeah. Well, solid usage of it.
Yeah, crews were stuck with a job they did not relish.
Oh, good night.
Rolling up the scattered tube steaks for disposal. Who calls it what is that? A tube steak?
A tube steak?
It's like nothing close to a
I
steak.
feel like I've heard of sausage called that, not hot dogs.
Now this is interesting. Once those leave the truck and hit the road, I can't even read this with a straight face. This is one of the fire company chiefs saying this. Once those hot dogs leave the truck and hit the road, that's all garbage, and it's still pretty warm. So they're like warmed hot dogs?
Oh, was it like hot pavement?
Oh, maybe that is what he means. So they're just like cooking on this hot asphalt.
It's been in it was like in the 90s last week everywhere. So.
Yeah, okay. There were some injured people. Not life-threatening, but 4 people required medical attention.
But here's my question. Why are there just like unpackaged hot dogs floating on the back of a truck?
Like wooden crates? So like, how are you transporting them?
Yeah.
I guess in my head I
Why
imagine...
are they not sealed?
I imagine hot dogs being transported in like, vacuum sealed packages like,
I would
Oscar
hope
Mayer
so.
wieners.
It looks like individual hot dogs.
That's hot dogs all over the place. Yeah. Look at that.
Oh, you know what I bet it is? So growing up at a summer camp, my dad, was there for years. We would get a lot of bulk shipments of product from Cisco to feed the kids during the week, and they drop off these boxes, and like I know the boxes of frozen hamburgers, there'd be like 200 patties in one box, and it's all frozen, but they're not like individually packaged.
Oh yeah, it's got to be some kind of bulk like that. But
there's just like thin paper between.
But were they frozen?
I don't know if these hot dogs are frozen.
Those hot dogs look like they were not frozen because of how individually they're.
Yeah.
Like I think if they were frozen, they would have like stuck together.
But I'm imagining it's probably a similar situation. Like it might be like a bulk hot dogs that like a restaurant might order from a food supplier.
Yeah.
Because like if you go to the Northside High School and it's hot dog day for lunch, you don't have the cooks in the back cutting open little packages.
No, right. Yeah, no, that'd be insane. So, ethical question for you guys. If the governing authorities are designating all of these hot dogs as garbage, is it unethical to take some of those? You're reducing the waste by taking those hot dogs home to eat.
I would, if there were some still sitting in a box, I'd take them.
Yeah.
They look like bear hot dogs on the road.
They do look like bear.
There's got to be some still sitting in boxes.
I gotta think that there's some that are propped up on a couple others or whatever. So ethically, you would not categorize that as stealing because from the governing authorities it's all going to be garbaged.
If it has been declared waste, then why would it not be free for the taking?
Yeah.
Are you
a little bit of mustard, a little bit of relish, a little bit of gravel?
I would feed it to my kids.
It says they scooped them up with a front end loader and then dropped them in a dump truck.
You want to hear a wild stat that I just heard yesterday? I was prepping for my sermon Sunday, and I just had typically my intro is the last thing that comes in the sermon process.
100% true.
Yeah,
yep.
But it just clicked for me yesterday, which is way early for it. But it was about this chef. His name is Massimo. He's an Italian chef, and he got famous for being called having the best restaurant in the world multiple years in a row. But he got a lot of notoriety as a philanthropist when in Milan, Italy, they were doing the World Food Expo with the theme Feed the World. And he heard reports about how much food was going to be wasted at this World Food Expo that's all about feeding the world. And so he did this subversive thing where he created this, it was called it was a refectory, which is like what you call like the cafeteria area in like a monastery, but like typically they're beautiful and have architecture and things like that and paintings. And so he created like this space and whatnot that's like beautified to like dignify the humans. And he got like 50 of the world's best chefs to agree to come in during this World Food Expo to cook for homeless people, like top class world meals. So in coming back to like the stats he was saying as he was just hearing all this stuff about food waste and stuff like that. And he said the world has, 7.5 billion people in it. and produces enough food for 12 billion in a year. Wow. And on average, 33% of that food gets wasted.
Wow.
Isn't that wild? 33%, and we produce enough for 12 billion.
Yeah. And what number are going with less than what they need?
Yeah, totally.
That? I would be curious.
Totally, 100%.
Yeah, well.
And why not feed the world with some hot dogs that you could just rinse off?
Yeah, it's just
under your kitchen sink. Yeah, rinse them off. You're fine.
Under your kitchen sink?
No, with your under the faucet.
Like
I suppose under the faucet.
The way this ends, I just thought was funny. The fire chief said, "I can tell you personally, hot dogs are very slippery. I did not know that." So apparently they're like walking through the scene.
This is a new revelation to him.
Well, have you ever walked on hot dogs on the highway?
No, but I've pulled them out of packages and they're always wet and slippery.
I mean, I feel like any food product on the ground would be slippery.
Sure.
I feel like I'm picturing like one of those like Three Stooges comedy scenes where firefighters are just like slipping and falling on their heads on all these.
The way he worded that, he definitely fell on.
He 100% fell.
Slipped
personally
on a hot dog. Now, with all this, since we don't have any agenda here,
sure, go there.
What would you say is a reasonable price for a hot dog these days? Like a prepared,
like getting it from the ballpark?
Sure,
or
yeah.
Getting it from Costco, or getting it from your kid's swim meet.
Well, Costco is like the ideal that can never be beaten.
Well, like that's the problem because I'm a Costco member and I know how much hot dogs cost at Costco, and it's like, come on, guys. Costco
and that's all beef, and it's like a big hot dog.
Yeah, they give you long ones. They're like I don't know if they're foot long, but they're 8 inches. I mean,
we went to a Tin Caps game over the weekend, and a hot dog sounded good. That's just like baseball food, but it's like $4.50,
dude.
Oh, like, is it going to be a little wrapped in tin foil?
No. Ballpark food is straight up extortion.
It sure is. I bet cost of product there sub 10 cents.
Yeah. Well,
what do you think the markup is on that thing? Probably like 800%.
8,000%. I don't know. Yeah, it's got to be incredible. Now you do have to pay the person, the attendant who's putting it on the hot rollers to warm up before they put it on a bun and give it to you.
It's not like ballpark tickets are cheap.
Yeah.
They got to be making so much money off that.
It was a sold out game that day.
Yeah. And they've done the whole behind the scenes marketing over, a century now to create like Pavlovian response systems of when I'm in a ballpark, I need to have a hot dog.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, there's some psychology behind it, man.
So how bad do you need to want a hot dog, or how good of a price does a hot dog need to be, I guess?
I don't even need to want a hot dog to buy a hot dog at a ballpark.
Okay.
I will just get one because I'm there.
Premium for the experience.
100%, yes. And I'll probably get 2 for me and 1 for each of my boys. And Lisa will look at me like I'm gross. Yeah. Which is appropriate. Because
you get 1 for you and your boys, and you could have gotten like a whole pizza or something.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah. Now, we, at the date of recording, Drew and I just finished the city swim meet for our boys, which is like you're kind of locked in at like an 8-hour day on Saturday because one kid swims in the morning, the other swims in the afternoon. And then on Sunday, I was rolling straight from church to Southside Natatorium, and I, had to go home, let the dog out, and change into something that I wouldn't sweat to death in. And by the time I roll in there, because I wanted to make sure that I was in there on time and not knowing where to park, I hadn't had lunch. And so I did get a hot dog there, and they charged me $2 for a hot dog, but it was not a Costco dog. It was certainly like you get 10 dogs for $1.10. And that's a good markup as well for them. But, they kind of got you because what else you can eat?
And that situation is different, too, because it wasn't like sometimes you get to like kids' sporting events and it's the local booster club that's selling hot dogs. And they're trying to raise money to support the team because the kids need new uniforms or whatever.
I can get behind that.
This was catered.
It was catered?
Yeah, wasn't it Ted's?
No.
I'm pretty sure it was catered.
It was catered?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
This is riveting radio. It made me think of this guy, though. Have you heard this? It's like a hot dog guy at a baseball game. That's how he announce the hot dogs.
Now, I can respect those guys that walk around the ballpark.
I didn't know that was still a thing. They had one.
They still do it at the Coliseum too.
Oh
yeah. They do it. Yeah, for sure. And for that, I don't know how they get paid. I've never done it. I don't know if you get paid per hour or if you get paid on commission.
I would hope people give them tips, though.
I would hope so, but I doubt it.
It's like a back workout.
Are you supposed to?
I bet most people do not give them tips.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I would give a tip.
Would you even buy one from him in the first place? That's the whole thing.
So it's easy for me to say,
Exactly.
Oh, I'd give him a huge tip. Never did it, though.
Can we talk about the tipping situation in the United States of America?
Yes.
It's
it is
it's gotten out of control.
It's such a loaded deal because I am philosophically, I am a firm proponent of being a gracious, generous tipper. But now everybody is trying to get a tip from me. And it's you get paid minimum wage. It's comparable to it's double what I was getting paid minimum wage for when I was in high school. And it's and then you want a tip on top of that?
If you're at a sit-down restaurant and they're hustling, bringing food to you back and forth, taking an order, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
But there's a restaurant that's going to be unnamed, but it is similar to a Subway setup where you walk down the line and
I guarantee I know the one you're talking about.
Put together your food for you, right? Mm-hmm. And at the end, you go sign, your name after you swipe your card, and a little thing pops up that says, do you want to offer a tip?
Uh-huh.
And the person's standing right there,
staring at
you.
Yeah.
I'm shamelessly to put no, but I'm really? why are you even offering this?
Yeah.
I just put my food I
can't do it, man. I always tip. 100% of the time. And it's because I feel bad.
Like $1.
If you go to McDonald's,
always at least something. Yeah.
If you go to McDonald's, do they ask for a tip when you order food at McDonald's?
I've not been there in 10 years.
They don't. I haven't either, but I'm assuming they don't. Most restaurants, Chick-fil-A, they don't ask for
I wouldn't be surprised if everybody's adding that into their system now.
They might, but I don't think they do.
Okay.
So what's happening is somebody in the back is putting food together for you, and they bring it out to the front.
Yeah.
The difference is between this restaurant that's going to be unnamed in McDonald's or Chick-fil-A is rather than making it in the back, they're making it in front of you.
100%. Yeah. No deal. No question. It's a little bit of a scammy thing the way that they've got it set up. And here's the thing is that I wonder if 100% of the tip goes towards tipping the staff, or if the business takes 10% of it for tipping the management or the owner. I don't know what the rules are.
So when I worked at Starbucks, there was this was back in 2007. There was tipping, and if they tipped, you would get the tips. I want to go.
You get all of it. Okay, all right. That's good. That makes me feel a little bit better.
But if you're there, it's distributed among the other baristas that are working there.
Yeah.
Because they're not giving it to you personally; they're just putting it into a tip jar in a machine. So it's not really at a restaurant. You leave it on the table,
right? Yeah.
And that's you get
straight to pocket.
All that booty is yours, right?
Yeah. Come on.
Not at Starbucks or these other places, they distribute it amongst the workers.
Now, it comes back to the philosophical for Lisa and I of, is tipping grace-based or works-based? And Lisa and I are in different places. Now, we're not talking about salvation, so we can differ on this one. Lisa's salvation is grace-based, but her tipping is works-based. And there are times where we've had just the crummiest of service and the crummiest of food handed to us, and I still will tip 20%. And she's like, why? This is undeserved. This is wrong because you're encouraging bad work, bad performance. And it's I totally get that. Rationally, I totally get it. I don't know. I've got a thing where I tip, but I am getting exhausted. I'm having tip fatigue, to your point, Drew, in which everybody is asking for a tip.
Yeah.
For things that are not tip-worthy service industries.
I'm getting the awkward interactions now where the person on the other end, where it is you're tipping are you going to tip or not, like right in front of them for handing you a coffee or something.
Yeah.
And like you can tell they don't feel great about it. Like they're embarrassed that you have to do that.
I've noticed that too on occasion where like they'll like just like flip the screen to you and like walk away because they just want you to have the freedom and don't associate this with me, please, you know, kind of thing.
I'm doing it because I have to.
Yeah.
So by the time this comes out, you'll be in the midst of whatever you may say here, but do you guys have any, we talked about like summer plans at the start of the podcast. Do you have any fall plans? Or is it just kind of back to normal school rhythms and stuff like that?
I mean, yeah, it is back to school. We homeschool our kids, so we'll start up here in a couple weeks. We don't trail too far behind the rest of the Indiana school system.
But if you're going to homeschool, like, way to take advantage of having like a week when everybody's back in school and things kind of empty out. Like that's really smart.
That's when we go to the zoo. I mean, we do all sorts of stuff. You like the whole place to yourself. This is great.
Yeah.
So we'll eventually, kids will start up school here in a couple weeks. Just not super far behind, but the fall is our Warner family's one of our favorite times of the year, and so we try to just spend a lot of time outside enjoying the season. Typically, we take a trip back east at some point to visit my family back in upstate New York, and it's just beautiful there this time of year. The leaves are gorgeous, the weather's gorgeous, so we like to try to do that at some point. It is incredible to enjoy God's creation in September, October, November. So we really look forward to this time of year. And I didn't say outside of like taking a trip, that's like the one thing that for sure is going to happen. But we try to sneak in things if we can. We've gone up to Michigan before and enjoyed the weather up there. So I'm a big fan of the season. And I like all things pumpkin spice. I know everybody likes to dog on pumpkin spice everything, and I'm like, yeah, shove it wherever you want. It's great.
You tip for that?
I do not tip for pumpkin spice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think we are getting to the point in the year where like everybody's ready for the boys to go back to school, like them included. Like the summer is fun, and we love the summer. We love like just the amplified time together, but like we feel the lack of structure and normal rhythms, and honestly, like we sometimes have like better consistency with like even family time during the school year, as ironic as that might seem, because like in the summer, the schedule can be filled with anything, and sometimes we run the risk of filling it with too much. But like when the school year starts up, it's like we're locked in. Like we have to say no to everything else because like the boys are in school, they've got homework. Caleb will start the soccer season. They'll do their indoor swim season before long, and like we'll just be filled with like things that we do as a family that are a little bit more structured. Beyond that, Lisa is big into fairs and festivals. So Johnny Appleseed is a staple. We will always be at the Johnny Appleseed Festival. We have historically liked to get to the Grable Fair.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I'm not from Fort Wayne or the area at all.
Okay.
I'm from upstate New York. Mm-hmm. Why do people like the Johnny Appleseed Festival?
If she were here, she would say, bite your tongue.
The festival specifically?
She likes it because she loves, like, we love just going around and eating all the food, like sampling the different food. Like, I don't know, it's got like a certain taste to it where it's like cooked over an open flame. And I mean, it's a pretty like just low key thing to do. Like you can just kind of show up, eat a variety of different food. She loves the food there though. They've got like, just some old school stuff that just kind of like harkens you back into a different era, like kind of like when you enter into the bubble.
What about the heat?
The heat is hit or miss year to year because it's always in September and like third week September. Sometimes it'll still carry some of that like oppressive summer heat into it. Sometimes it'll be a little bit more mild, and it is under like a tremendous amount of like tree coverage, like tree canopy coverage. So I'm a hot box, and I've not found it to typically be like oppressive heat for me personally.
What about the people?
No, I will say the people are a problem. It is always like doubling the attendance from like the year before, and there are just people. But this is a fun thing. As someone who grew up in Fort Wayne, we always see. And if you grew up in Fort Wayne, you always go. You know, so if you migrated into Fort Wayne, you might not carry the same affinity for it. But so we'll go around and we will see people every year that we haven't seen in 10 or 15 years, and it's a fun little connection. So we kind of like that. It's kind of like almost kind of like a reunion, like Fort Wayne reunion kind of thing from like just past jobs or churches or school or whatever, and you just get a couple minutes, just kind of check in and say like, you know, what have you been up to? So I think that's kind of like a very endearing thing to me about it. Yeah.
I remember going and I was like, this is so many bodies packed into like an acre of land.
The bees are a problem too.
Oh, the bees.
The bees are the worst.
So many bees.
I dislike the bees more than the like 250% capacity ratio.
But I do, and I don't mean this negatively, and I'll explain why in a minute. But I do believe it's more of a nostalgia thing.
I think so. No, I don't think you need to even.
And I'm not dogging on that because, as my wife will attest, my hometown in upstate New York is home of the Central New York Maple Festival every spring. And even as a kid, and then we haven't been in years, but all the way up in high school and college, like I loved this thing.
Yeah.
It is boring.
Yeah.
Like it's basically like a craft fair with a few food vendors.
Yeah.
And all the food is maple related because it's a maple festival, and you go through like the sap house, and then you can like get a carriage ride.
I'm a sucker for maple.
But like, I love this thing. But anybody who didn't grow up a marathoner probably like, fine.
Yeah, no, I think you're right on that.
So that's why I'm like, I can understand. I can relate.
I think it's a nostalgia thing.
I think for me, it's 100% nostalgia.
Yep.
So I can understand. I'm just, as a non-native Fort Wayner, I'm having a hard time convincing myself to go dodge bees and a million people.
I hear you. No, I hear you. Yeah.
I've lived in Fort Wayne for 20-ish years. I've never been. It's that bad.
I think you should join the Johnsons this year.
We'll take you. Okay. Augie would love it.
Augie does not like bees.
Yeah. The bees are...
This is the first I've heard of the bee problem.
Yeah, the bees are concentrated in a couple areas. They've got a space where they shoot off like old cannons and stuff like that. That's kind of fun. They've got like some games and like archery and stuff like that. So, you know, that's kind of...
Sure.
Everybody waits in line for the root beer.
Oh, yeah. We are... So, yeah, the root beer, you buy a glass jug, and you can return it every year, and they'll refill it for like reduced rate. And so we've got the big jugs, and we take them back. They fill them up afresh. Come on.
And LK, guess what it tastes like?
Bees. Root beer?
Root beer.
Oh.
No. It tastes like Johnny Appleseed root beer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which
a little better than mug.
Which if you took it home and poured it into a glass and gave it to your neighbor who's never been, they'd be like, "Six like root beer."
Yeah.
You know what? That is the palate that has not been finely tuned to the Johnny Appleseed essences that differentiate it.
That reminds me of a story. When I was a teacher out in New Jersey, I was the only male full-time teacher in this tiny Christian school, and so I was to be the chaperone for the 8th grade field trip. And part of this field trip was going to a potato chip factory, and the administrator who always led the trip talked all year about how awesome this trip was to the potato chip factory, and she'd be like, "You've never had a chip unlike a chip that's come off right off the line." And I was like, all right, so I'm looking forward to this fresh potato chip off the line. So we get there, go through the whole tour, get to the end. The guy sticks a big tray as the potato chips are coming off the line. He brings it over to us, and I'm like, here's the moment. And I grabbed the chip and I put it in my mouth, and I was like, tastes like a potato chip.
just microwave it for a few seconds and get the same thing.
Just warmer. And I was like, but I tried to turn it positive. I was like, kudos to Her's Potato Chip Factory for like consistency. The ones off the line are the same ones you get when you open a bag. So it's consistency. Yeah. I would say kudos to them. But if you want Her's potato chips, the only place that I've found in this area that sells them is Menards.
Really?
Yep. And they have like
where I go for snacks.
Not where you go for
chips. Have you been to Menards?
I always see Menards the snack section. I'm like,
it's fun for snacks.
It is a good time, man. You go in, you're like, I'm gonna go buy myself a shovel and some landscaping jerky equipment, and you walk out with like
a 5-gallon jug of cheese balls.
Exactly.
Yeah,
nice.
It's a good time. I like Menards. You save big money there.
Menards is a good time. My boys call it the man store. I don't know where they got it from. Maybe me. And so we'll go there, and they'll always they'll do what the boys are supposed to do, and they'll ask me for snacks. And I'll have to play the dad role of, well, I don't know.
Let me think about it.
But really, they're doing exactly what I need them to do. And then I look like the good, kind, gracious dad who gives in and gives them some snacks when, the whole time I wanted them.
Yeah, and you were exceptionally generous this time. That's why you got so much.
Yes, that's right. See your father's graciousness.
Well, we joked before we started this that we would just end up talking about books. So why don't we...
We haven't yet.
Look at that.
Why don't we fulfill the prophecy and just end with a little book talk?
Okay.
I don't know in what way. We've already talked about the book that we are currently reading together. Do you guys have any books you're itching to get to?
So my birthday was just a little over a week ago. And for my birthday, I received 11 books. So that's a good haul.
You hear that, Lisa?
11 books for my birthday, Lisa. And
I'm joking as if she listens to our podcast.
And
definitely not 40 minutes in.
I would say over half of them were probably $2 or less.
That makes them feel even better.
Because I got them on clearance. But I'm really excited to dig into really any of them. I mean, even though they were on clearance, I'm very excited about this book haul. I got one fiction in there. I don't read a ton of fiction, but when I do, it's usually Wendell Berry. And he had a new book that he had published back in 2023 that I haven't read yet. It's a collection of short stories of his. It's all brand new, so I'm really excited to get into some fiction. I think it's called How It Went. So I'm a big Wendell Berry fan. I can't recommend him enough. Not everybody will love his style of writing because it's not plot driven. So you're not looking at this, then this happened, then this happened, and I'm so intense, I'm on the edge of my seat. It's very character driven about these. All his books take place in a fictional town called Port William, Kentucky. And it's about the people's lives in this small town. And so if you want to check out Wendell Berry, since we're talking about books, I would recommend starting with his book, Jayber Crow, which is about the town barber, or a book called Hannah Coulter, which is about a widow that lives in this town as well. Both great books. And then a bunch of theology and Bible books that I'm very excited to dive into. I got them from ChristianBook.com. If you also, another good place, we've talked about this before, WTSBooks.com. Those are the two best places to buy books. Or, 10ofthose.com. So there's 3 websites that offer great discounts on books, Lisa.
Yeah. Bingo.
You're welcome, Luke.
I appreciate that. So I have been, maybe a little bit of the backstory. I got the free month trial of Speechify. Have you guys heard of Speechify?
No.
It is like a premier, not like a shoddy, does a bad computery version of it, but this is a really quality program that will read you print. And so I've actually been just in trialing it out. I've been going through a lot of kind of lengthier essays that are online, and I've been having it read to me. So I've been doing a lot with a lot of Keller. Keller, is a guy that obviously I quote a lot in my sermons because I love to read his books and I love to listen to his sermons. But on his website, he's got like a ton of like lengthier journals and essays that oftentimes are a lot more like specified, going a little bit deeper on a particular topic that he might mention in a sermon or whatever. And it tends to be a lot more like ministry related stuff where it's like, you know, his books might be written to like the broad audience, but you know, I just went through yesterday was over how he trains his lay leaders to identify and develop people's spiritual gifts. And so it's just like very practical, specified stuff. And so because I've got that Speechify account that I'm toying around with, I've been going through a lot of those. And that's been like I've really enjoyed that a lot. Is
that an extension for your browser?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's an app on the phone, so you can like upload any PDF file to it, and like I could listen to it like while I'm mowing the lawn, as it like reads me like an audio book, a particular like PDF file. So I did, it's a theological journal called Themelios, and I had one that I just uploaded to my app and had it read it to me because those tend to be a little bit lengthier and whatnot. And so
Can you scan a physical book?
I haven't tried that.
My guess is you could scan it, convert it to a PDF, and then load it.
You could probably do that. Yeah.
Can it do Scottish accent?
It does actually. Yes.
So I
have it reading to me in a British accent.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. I always go with an accent when it's an option.
Yeah. There's some browser extensions that I've used in the past that will do speech, text to speech.
Yeah. I've just never been that pleased with them.
They're pretty clunky.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, where like even like my Logos Bible software, like I've tried that. It's got like a read aloud version for like commentary or something like that. It's just it's so clunky. This one I've been genuinely impressed with, and I love that like it's got like the 0.10 option of amping up the speed, because oftentimes with stuff like that, I like to go two times speed. And so I like all the features, a lot of different voices that you can pick from, speed, a lot of like configurations that you can go with. So I've been kind of really impressed by it. But, you know, just in our profession, there's just always so much content that you want to get through that sometimes I just need to, like, if it's something where like I want to get the gist of this article, if I want to really ingest something, I'm going to read it. Like that's just going to be the best way to ingest it. But sometimes I just want to grab what you're trying to say. And so like I can just have it read to me while I'm kind of, you know, lightly multitasking a little bit or whatever. And that's just a helpful way to get through it. So I've been going through The Hobbit again. And so just finished last night, Riddles in the Dark. And the exchange between Bilbo and Gollum in the depths of the cave. And yeah, I don't know. It's just endearing to my heart. It's just like a cathartic thing for me, going back to Lord of the Rings, or, you know, to Middle Earth, I suppose I should say. I've got another book that I'm looking to actually buy. I just stumbled across it. So that Massimo chef that I was talking about, his whole thing is about how to dignify the human being in the way that you serve them. And so like one of the quotes that came from like his wife in like when they were being interviewed, because they were on Somebody Feed Phil, which is a like kind of like a cooking travel show that my wife and I really like. When they were talking with him about it there, his wife said, we believe that it is more effective to serve the whole person and maybe only reach 100 people than to throw a bland sandwich at 1,000 people and have it be no more than just passing out calories. Now, obviously that's going to be like both have their significance, you know, like some people need calories to simply take another breath kind of thing, you know, and so you don't want to like totally discount that. But for them, they said ministering to the whole of a person when you do that, that's when you enact genuine change or can, whatever. So it's just very fascinating to me. He seems like, I was doing a little digging on him. Seems like he might have like some Catholic roots potentially, but he's not very overt about faith anywhere. I couldn't really locate anything. But he's written a couple books, and one of them has been about his, I think it's called the Refertorio Ambrosio or something like that was the name of his first refertory that he started that was, done with like top-notch architecture. They had like world-class painters put paintings in there. They'll have like music that will come in, and they'll serve like top class. Like he's a 3 Michelin star chef, and he says, but all their food comes from wasted food elsewhere. So they'll take like stale bread, and he gets into the science of like the gastronomy about how they will take stale bread and what they can do to like rehab it to make it like a top tier delicacy. And so they call his soup kitchen, it's a glorified soup kitchen. They call it the best food in the world that you can't get a reservation to eat. And he says every night for us is jazz, because we have whatever is brought into us, and we take whatever ingredients we have on that night, and we make something beautiful and something new. And it's like, I'm kind of really digging how he's talking about this, because, as you talked about earlier, Drew, and as you talked about in our elder meeting this morning, like every human's made in the image and likeness of God, and the common grace of God will still produce things that reflect the image of God, even when people are doing it in the darkness of not knowing why they've got this gravitation in their heart. And so I just find that incredibly fascinating. So I'm looking to grab one of his books that talks about that, and I'm kind of really excited to start reading that.
I have a question. Would this chef take maybe some hot dogs that he found on the side of the road?
I think he would love to get those dogs.
I thought you were going to go back to the tipping thing, but that was even better.
Come full circle.
All right. Yeah. Cool.
So, wait, what about you, man? You've been asking us questions. What do you got going on in the fall? And what are you reading?
Yeah, by the time this comes out, I'm in seminary.
You're reading whatever you're told to read?
Yeah.
By your professors?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'll say right now, I just started The Christian Life by Sinclair Ferguson, which is really good. I've never read anything bad from him.
Have you read The Whole Christ?
No, but it's on my list because you speak so highly of it.
My goodness. That's a great book.
So that's been really good. But yeah, learning Hebrew and Greek alphabets and stuff, and that'll be my life. That is my life at the time of this airing.
Yeah. There will be little else. Little margins for that. You know what's another one that actually we were talking about at one of the swim meets that actually, when I finish Hobbit, I probably will go to next, because it's been probably 10 years since I've read it, but it's sitting on the shelf. The Book of the Dun Cow by Walter Wangerin.
It's been a while since I've read that.
It's been a while, but I remember being like drawn into it. Kevin DeYoung did like a book review on it and talked about how much he loved it. And that's what got me into it. But yeah, so I might go back and revisit that and see if it'd be a good one for the boys to go through with me.
I discovered that book through Andrew Peterson.
Yeah.
It's one of his favorite books.
This was fun. Maybe we'll do this every 6 episodes or something.
I think it would be helpful if some of our faithful listeners would let us know, do you want more of this? Mm-hmm. Would you like to know more about hot dogs on highways?
All 15 of them?
Yeah. Hot dog tragedies that are like old news.
Yeah.
Outdated news reports.
Do you think our listeners listen to this on double time?
I think some of them do.
I think they should.
I think that might not be a bad idea.
If you've listened this far,
can we get them
you are loved.
Some special North Park swag or something, Luke?
I feel like we've said that like 6 times on this podcast.
This is what you do. Okay. If you have listened this far, come and tell us, and we'll give you a special prize.
Yeah, tell us the secret.
I will legit
password.
Go down to my office right now and come up with some special prize for the 2 or 3 individuals who
just come up to us and say gravel dog. That's how we'll know.
Dog.
Yeah, I like that.
That's how we'll know.
That's
The hell is Gravel Dog? It's the secret password
to
to get something really cool from us.
to get a prize. You come up and tell one of the three of us, Gravel Dog.
This is exhilarating now, guys.
And we'll know that you've listened to minute 54.
Yeah. Now,
Well, it'll probably be less because he's going to edit out a bunch of stuff that you guys are going to be glad we've edited out.
yeah, it'll be a little shorter than that. It's good that we're not specifying what this thing is, because by now we should have coffee mugs. We should have North Park Podcast disc golf discs, I think.
Yeah, we do have some of those, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we do have that now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was
We
promised.
do have some
They're
of those.
specifically podcast
No, they're not podcasts.
or just North Park?
They're
Oh,
just
well,
North
yeah.
Park.
Okay.
We need to start branding some QR codes that take you direct link to our podcast.
Yeah.
Forget the church website.
That's all that's on the disc. That'd be funny. Okay, thank you for listening to this episode. We'll be back next week with something more substantial, but hopefully you've enjoyed this.
Gravel Dogs.
Gravel Dogs.